Hey everybody, welcome to my booth. I'm Jay. Today's sample's from Carrie. It's a lovely self-produced commercial demo that they are hoping to know if it sounds professional enough. Spoiler alert, it does. Before we dive in though, if you would like me to review audio of yours just like this, there's a form in the description. You can send me some audio there. If coaching is more your speed, that's available on my website, and if you like this stuff and you find it helpful, there are a few ways in which you can pay it forward. 1, thanks for being here. 2, you can click the buttons down there. It's the YouTube way. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can check out the Booth Buddies or the Buy Me a Coffee thing down in the description. That's just an extra bit of support and gives you a little bit more streamlined access to help and support from me. Let's go, Carrie.
1. Hook it up. 2. Go. Fizz Home Internet is that easy. A Verbo is for all kinds of moments, from baby moons to supermoons. Because with a Verbo, it's always just you, your people, and no one else. Let's go to Wild Waves Theme and Water Park. Get unlimited visits for the price of a one-day ticket. Wild Waves. Let's go. Whoever you are, however you break, have a break. Have a Kit Kat. It's savoring every bite and every moment. Indulge your inner foodie and earn 3 times the points on dining. Another way we've got your back. The Platinum Card from American Express. Don't live life without it.
Like I said, Carrie, really, really solid work. Really solid work. Things that I'm already loving, the music that you've chosen for each spot really supports your read and the vibe that's going on underneath. You've produced everything pretty darn well. Your sound is great. The spots you've chosen, you've got a great variety. This first one's like the casual conversational kind of like, yeah, whatever. This is so easy. This is sort of, the Verbo is somewhat sentimental. The family fun, which is always a good thing to have. Kit Kat, a little bit sassy. And then the Amex is very luxurious, debonair, premium. So yeah, really, really great work on a lot of this, which is all to say, I'm not going to hold back. Everything I say is going to be pretty nitpicky, pretty minute, because this is a great thing. You could ship this no problem. And a lot of my notes here are going to be things to either look forward to in future demos that you make for yourself, or if you wanted to tweak this ever so slightly, ideas of mine that I think might just help you out a bit and make it a little bit, give it that little whatever salt on the top of it. So first things first, while you have a great variety of spots here, between all of them, there are a few things that are giving a sort of like regular metered experience to the whole listening of the demo. Meaning, I think there are moments that we could add auditory interest and have a little bit more movement through the demo. A couple examples that you already have, which I think are really, really lovely. And for me, they stand out because the majority of your demo is very evenly paced in a lot of respects. But there are these 2 moments of suspension that really stand out by virtue of that. This one.
To supermoons. Because with
we're left floating for a second, and then we keep going, which is really nice. And then at the end of this Kit Kat one,
have a Kit Kat. It's savoring.
Boom, boom. And we move into Amex. And there are a couple of things that we could do to help amplify that movement. First is with the music track, adding more moments of interest like those moments of suspension. So using this Kit Kat one again as an example, the Amex spot starts with this lovely little snare hit, and instead of fading into the ammic spot, I don't know if this is the right answer, but as an idea and an example, if instead of fading into the ammic spot, we used that snare hit, really drove it up, and had that pull us out of the moment of suspension more energetically. So listening to this again,
Have a Kit Kat. It's
that ba-dum bump, if that was really dialed up, I'm just going to arbitrarily blast it.
break. Have a Kit Kat. It's savory.
So that little snare hit helps to really lurch us forward a bit. And moments like that can really help to give us more movement through the piece. So musically, what you could do is sort of like what I just did, moments where you're not speaking, moments of transition. Give swells in the volume of the music, add maybe sound effects. The verbo piece might lend itself to some really great sprinkling of sound effects like children in the background, birds, moving from like cityscape busyness to the quietude and solitude of being just with the people that you care about and leaving all that noise behind, which would support the spot. Those kind of things can add more auditory interest and introduce new and interesting rhythms to the piece as a whole. So that's one idea. The other thing that I have in mind is if we just look at the waveform peaks of your speech here, it looks pretty evenly metered across the entire demo, meaning that your reads are paced out very similarly from spot to spot, and your reads are really great. I want to be clear about that, and they're very, very clean. And being clean is great, and I would definitely keep a super clean read in your demo and probably everybody's demo just to show if you want the straight up read, I can do it. But we can add a lot of interest and humanity by messing up the timing, making it really imperfect in a way, making it a little bit grungier or not as clean. So as an example, let's dive into this Kit Kat spot. We'll listen to it once, then I'm just gonna, before I talk about anything, I'm gonna snip out some silences to really mess up the timing of what you have here. It's gonna totally obliterate the music track, but as an example of what I'm talking about to give us a bit more rhythmic variety. So we'll listen to it once, I'll delete some stuff, we'll listen to it again.
Whoever you are, however you break, have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Whoever you are, however you break, have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Yeah, and that sounds a little bit better to my ear. But point being, having new rhythms there, it can really shake things up for us. And as a listener, I start to hear less of the scripts and more of the personality behind it. And you already have wonderful personality in each of these. And the timing thing, instead of like arbitrarily saying, I mean, you could easily say, I'm just going to read this 10% faster. And that could be a good place to start. Alternatively, you could lean further into the vibes that you already have set up for yourself here. So like this first thing, the vibe of it is like step 1, easy. Step 2, go. That's how simple this is. And if you just take that further, and this Kit Kat one similarly, listen, whoever you are, wherever you are, just take a break. Have a Kit Kat. Just really drive far in that direction to stretch everything as far as you can apart from each other. And I don't think that necessarily would need to be a dramatic shift, but that sort of thing might introduce more of the imperfection that I'm talking about. My last idea, this is specific to the verbo spot. Right now, the overall tone of it is kind of just the sentimental tone, like get away from it. Here's the moon, here's the baby moon. And generally too, I think across most of your spots, but this one was the one where it stood out a bit the most. This spot in particular, I think, has a lot of room for the playfulness, the winks, the just sort of like insider, like, I've been there, mate. And I think you could introduce little shades or flavors of that into the sentimentality that you already have done so wonderfully well here. Interestingly, the music you chose, I think, supports the playful notes. So it would be an easy thing to just introduce a little bit more of that.
A verbo is for all kinds of moments, from baby moons to supermoons. Because with a verbo, it's always just you, your people, and no one else.
Because, like, the idea of, like, listen, it's you, your people, and nobody else. That's funny. It's kind of funny to me. So you could just dial up that sort of knowingness. Like, everybody else out there, you can leave them behind with verbo. Doesn't that sound nice? And try that on for size if you wish. Anyway, Carrie, really, really solid work. I hope that those things are helpful for you and to everybody else as well. Until the next one of these, everybody, I'll see you there. Be well and toodles.